To the show. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How about yourself?
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Total Therapy Training Podcast, a podcast where you accompany me on my journey through traditional Chinese medicine. So, Phil, today we are going to talk about electro. Is that right?
Correct, yeah, Electro Acupuncture, yeah.
Okay, so all I know about electro is Sarah Garrett put some needles in my legs once and then attached some electro stuff and they were bouncing. That's all I know about it. So this is going to be fascinating because I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could put electricity through needles.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Okay, cool. So Phil, tell us your story. Why TCM?
I've always been into things kind of Eastern and Oriental since a child.
Right.
Literally, I think from like 5 years old, I would rather eat Chinese food or Thai food than English food.
Right.
And I've always been into martial arts. Obviously, being a baby of the 80s,
Yeah.
we grew up with Karate Kid and Kickboxer.
Yeah.
And I thought they were awesome.
Yeah.
But I was probably gravitating more to kind of the masters themselves rather than the actual fighters. Because they
Okay.
seem to have what I would call like magical powers. They could, fix their fighter, train their fighter, feed them healthy foods. And they were like kind of my idea of superheroes. So I guess kind of, yeah, young age, martial arts. I love the Oriental way of living. I prefer their food to our food any day. And that's kind of how I got into it, I'd say.
Wow. So I'm hearing this martial arts a lot. And I think I said this to you in our initial chat. So I went to jiu-jitsu as a child and then on to judo. And I never heard nothing about acupuncture. So when did you learn about this in martial arts?
I was quite lucky. Well, to be fair, I am quite lucky. I've always picked good schools and good teachers to learn from. And it's kind of unfortunate nowadays that not all martial arts school actually teach what I would call a martial art. Originally, a martial art would have lots of different divisions within it. So let's take jiu-jitsu, for example. There would have been the horseback division. There would have been the ground fighting division or sort of area or sector, the armed combat, the unarmed combat, the bone breaking or the bone strengthening. But then there would also be the medicine, kind of the healing side of it, the nutrition side, the emotional therapy side. If you think about what a martial art traditionally is, your fighters or your warriors would have to be in top physical, emotional kind of, peak performance. Let's just say you've been out on the battlefield and you've just seen, one of your friends get killed, samurai or something, but you've got to fight again tomorrow. So you can't be carrying that baggage with you emotionally. You can't be carrying an injury with you. You'd have to be fixed quickly.
Yeah.
And so, traditionally, like I said, martial art would have all of these different divisions within it. And there would be specialists in these areas. To me, martial arts and medicine, they go hand in hand.
This is crazy. I love it. I honestly, that's just blown my mind a little bit because, like you say, I just thought it was all about fighting. Hadn't even thought about the other side of it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm aware, I think there's only one school in the entire UK which covers many of these areas, and they are quite hard to come across.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. So something that I've heard many, many times, and I haven't stopped anybody to ask because they've been in such flow. I don't want to stop them. But what is a meridian?
That is the $1 million question. It really is. It's one of those ones which is always debated between top medicine practitioners, top acupuncturists, top martial artists around the world. So start from the basics. A meridian is a pathway. Okay. It travels up the body in one single direction, and it carries energy or chi or whatever word you want to use to describe energy. Electrons, some people would use. It's numbered from 1 to the highest number. So at number 1 it starts, and the flow will go up that channel, following the numbering system. So let's take, for example, the famous one, kidneys.
Right.
Kidney 1 will start under the foot, on the ball of the
Okay.
foot, and it will
Wow.
finish at number 27 on the collarbone. But it only
What?
goes up one way, doesn't go back down again. It comes down via another channel. So that's the purpose of a meridian. Every major organ has got its own channel to kind of service it, to carry the energy. There's various channels. There's like 14 main channels and other kind of smaller, less known or actually less used ones.
Yes, yeah.
Where the kind of debate, question, or the fun discussion kicks in is when we're discussing what they're made of, like
Yeah.
actually what they are.
Yes.
We know what they do. We know they work fantastic. We know we can stick a pin in kidney 3 for X, Y, Z, or we can massage it, we can magnet it, we can do what other things to it. But what exactly is it made of? Now, there's lots of theories on this. Some people believe it's nerves and it follows the nerve pathways. Now, to some extent, that is true because there are major nerve bundles close to each acupuncture point, or there's pivotal nerves with big functions at each kind of junction. However, that isn't true for all of the points. Other people believe it follows the line of fascia because the fascia happens to also run in the same direction as the channels. And fascia is also the most conductive part of the human body. And it also only carries energy in a single direction.
Okay.
In the exact same way as the numbering system.
Right.
And other people, and more kind of purists, more kind of ancient acupuncturists that are trained would say that it's neither of those. You can't see it. It's just there. A bit like the energy all around us now. We know it's there because we know about physics, we know about science. We just can't see it. So, I mean, I believe in kind of all three of those, to be fair.
Yeah.
Plus a few extras. I think that's the beauty of medicine, our medicine. We kind of, we do what we do. But yeah, I mean, in answer to your question, it's a system almost like a river. It flows in one direction. It carries energy. And we use it to remove blockages, to service organs, to tonify organs, to upregulate, downregulate systems, and they're all over the body. They're everywhere.
My God.
I hope that kind of answers. I think this is I think that question on its own could be a 2-hour chat.
Yeah, that's what I was just.
With many people listening, thinking, "Oh no, that's not correct," or "That is correct." I mean, but I guess it's open to interpretation. And I think it's also important to have different, not belief systems, because you believe in what you believe, but be aware of different possibilities.
Yeah.
Because you can use them in your treatment. As long as you have a multiverse approach, you can use different things in different treatments.
My goodness. So what you're saying is then, even though you could be doing something one way, but then if you know all of these other modalities, you could bring them in.
Well, yeah, let's say someone has an issue in their liver channel and also has an issue with their big toe. Liver 3, which is between the big toe crease, you could get the needle closer to the bone, which actually goes closer to the actual nerve itself. So you could be hitting both at once.
Right.
You could move it into the padding more, and you could, I guess, be working into the deeper either fascia layers or the deeper mythical life force layers. And I think it's important to be able to know different types of theories, whether you use them or not, or believe in them or not. It's good to know different types.
What is a mythical? What did you say? A mythical
life force? Like it's just, it's there. We know it's there. We just can't see it.
Right. Wow. That's sort of like what I believe about life. Then nobody else does.
No, I'm sure I do. I'm sure we're the same wave here.
Yeah.
If you can't see it, doesn't mean it's not real.
Oh my God.
And if it works, it's clearly real. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. God, you're talking my language.
Exactly.
So, all right then. So tell us about you and your clinic then. What do you mostly deal with?
So my clinic is absolutely fantastic. I have the most wonderful patients ever. And what's great about what I do is it ranges so much.
Yeah.
I look after people with general aches and pains. It could be a back pain they've had for 6 months or 6 years. It could be they can't turn their neck because of a car crash many months or years ago. Right through to organ failure, right through to diabetes, epilepsy, stroke, paralysis. The great thing about our medicine is it hasn't got boundaries, and it works in conjunction to other modalities.
Okay.
So when people say, like, what can you treat, you kind of feel bad saying, well, everything, what's wrong with you? But the good thing about Chinese medicine is they find the cause and treat that in conjunction to the symptoms, not just, oh, you have an elbow pain, let's just look after that. It's like, where did it come from?
Yeah.
Like, why have you got kidney failure? Why can't you conceive? Why can't you? And let's find out where it started. So I guess that, again, that's another question which could last 2 hours. I won't bore you if I do, but I mean, it ranges.
Tell us then, what on earth is electro-acupuncture?
Well, think of normal acupuncture,
Okay.
but turbocharged.
Right.
All the normal benefits of acupuncture, but made, thousands of times more powerful and thousands of times better.
Yeah.
That's kind of the very, very short answer, because we could be here for probably an entire weekend. That's the quickest answer. Now, in my opinion, all acupuncture, whether it uses a machine or not, is technically electro.
Okay.
However, the difference is we're using, in quotation marks, the Earth's electricity, or we're using a machine to sort of, amplify the electricity. But technically speaking, all acupuncture is electro anyway.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
go on.
Well, I won't, bring everyone back to school. But just on a basic, physics sense, everything in the universe is made of atoms.
Yeah.
So whether that's, a tree, a car, a building, a cat, a dog, or us as humans, we're made of atoms, which obviously are the building blocks of the universe.
Yeah.
As we know, atoms are so small that millions of them would fit onto, the head of a pin. And spinning around inside the atom, around the nucleus, we've got the protons and the neutrons.
Okay.
So we have an electrical charge, whizzing around the shell, around the nucleus, and that itself is a charge.
Yeah.
And there's what's the exact number? There's 50 trillion cells in the human body. Okay. Wow. Each cell has got a power charge of 0.4 volts.
Wow. That
means a healthy adult has got a charge of 3.5 trillion volts.
What?
Yeah, exactly. So we are walking around full of electricity ourselves.
Yeah.
And so if you think about it, just like that, just by inserting a needle into ourselves, it has to cause a reaction anyway.
Yeah.
And that is working with electricity. The Earth's charged, we're charged. So therefore, all acupuncture anyway is using electro.
Right.
The machine just makes it more powerful, and with the machine we can pick certain frequencies and we can stimulate different responses within the body.
Okay.
We can release different neurotransmitters, different hormones. We can up-regulate processes. We can down-regulate processes.
Yeah.
And so that's a very, 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 very quick, short story of what is electroacupuncture. I mean, the word electro or electricity can be swapped out for the word chi. Okay. Same thing. It's energy. So like I said, keep things under 6 hours or under 2 days.
Yeah.
The quickest answer, I'd say.
Wow. Okay. So this makes sense to me then, because doing crystal healing, the crystals get placed on the chakras and they conduct electricity, and that's how it
Correct.
works.
Right, they've all got charges. Crystals have got charges.
Yeah.
We've got charges. Actual chakra points in the body.
Yeah.
When we think of them as spinning cogs
Yeah.
of energy, well, they are. They're just think of them as transformers.
Right.
Where there's more electrical charge. And I mean, there's different ways of looking at this. There's different language we can use, and it can be related back to any type of medicine, any traditional type of medicine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's all electricity, basically.
Wow. This is, we're going to go off piece a little bit here, but
Yeah,
this is what amazes me about all of these treatments. Like somebody said to me the other day about Chinese medicine, wow, if something's been around for thousands of years and the Chinese have got the eldest generation, then I'd say that it works. Like, there's all of these these alternative therapies that people use, and people are like, how does that work, nobody believes in it, but they've been around for thousands of years, and this is how the generations would have healed each other.
Well, this is the thing. Modern medicine, aka, there's a pill for every ill. That's only been around for what, 100, 120, 150 years.
Yeah.
So by definition, that's alternative.
Yeah.
That's the newest stuff. And going back to the ancient Ayurvedic medicine, the ancient Egyptian medicine, the Chinese medicine, that is actual medicine working with the actual body on this plane, on this universe, on this earth. So
but how did they find all of this out? Like, what did they do? They just start stabbing each other and like, oh, that feels good.
Well, before this stabbing happened, there was things like qigong or qigong, which is internal healing.
Right.
And from what I understand, acupuncture would have come later for those that weren't educated enough to actually heal themselves.
Right.
We would have got sick, seen somebody who would have been amazed that we couldn't heal ourselves. Yeah. They'd be like, well, I'll try some acupuncture then. Let's see. It's not as good as self-healing, but let's see if it works.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's crazy. I could talk about it all weekend, like you say.
Exactly.
Okay, so next question then. When would you use electro over just a normal acupuncture procedure?
Well, me personally, I only use electro because if you think about it, like I've just explained it, we are full of electricity anyway. We've got roughly 3.5 trillion volts in us. As we're becoming sick, that's when we're losing voltage. As we're becoming older, we're losing voltage. And it's that power which gives us the cellular regeneration. It's that power with our food, aka Gucci, which gives us the protein synthesis. It's that electricity that we require. And it's still, I still do it with the Chinese medicine theory, the channel theory, except I fill up the channel with electricity.
Yeah.
So if there's a kidney deficiency or kidney channel deficiency, I will fill up the channel with electricity, and I may then also go closer to the kidneys via the spine, via where it attaches to the pre and post gangliotic nerve, where the adrenals are, and I'll also pump electricity into there as well. Wow. So I kind of visualize it as with a battery.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
When we become sick or ill, or when we get older, we're losing voltage, we're losing power.
Yeah.
And we need a bit of a recharge. Now, again, to a complete outsider, this sounds absolutely ludicrous. And I'm quite sure there'll be some people listening to this thinking that's absolute quackery. You can't do that. But at the end of the day, it's physics, it's science, and we base our lives on what we can. Most people base their lives on what can be proven or disproven by science. Yeah. So therefore, on a scientific level, this is real.
Yeah.
Can be proven. Whether or not we want to think about the channel theories, a different podcast, whether we want to think about different internal cheese, energies, spirits, shens, etc. That's a different podcast. But in terms of just pure electrical charge in the human body, that's a scientifically proven thing.
Wow.
So there is no, oh, do you think that works? Or, oh, is that real? That doesn't come into this. That's why for this particular chat, I'm keeping it quite, what's scientifically proven and what's not. I'm still a big fan and still a big believer in the Chinese medicine theory, and I use that for everything, especially diagnosis. But actual electroacupuncture is real. That's that's a full stop there. That's it. It's done. So in answer to your question, I use electro on my needles for every single treatment.
Right.
I maybe don't use electro on every single needle.
Okay.
So if there's a kidney channel deficiency and it's had a knock-on effect and it's causing a liver channel deficiency, I may put one clip onto the main kidney point. I may put the second clip onto the main liver points, and then I may put other Chinese medical needles around. I may put a couple of spleen needles in, maybe a supporting stomach 36, but I maybe won't zap all of them.
Okay.
But I will definitely use electro on everyone. One of the main reasons for that is, like I said, we can secrete hormones, we can secrete neurotransmitters, we can upregulate or downregulate anything. So we can release serotonin, we can release dopamine, GABA, dynorphin, etc. So we can actually, make the body go into an anti-inflammatory state. We can release serotonin, which is, pretty much instant pain relief.
Wow.
We can do vasodilation. So we can, if someone's got a sprain, an injury, a fracture, soft tissue damage, we can send blood there. We can flood it with more blood. Acupuncture itself will increase blood supply by 100%. Electro-Acpuncture will increase blood supply by 200%. But if we then choose certain frequencies, which will then do vasodilation, we can make that even more amplified.
Wow.
So, someone can come in with depression, anxiety, very, very low mood, and we can use Chinese points on their heads, but we can then flood it with serotonin or GABA or other, anti-inflammatory properties. So there's a lot we can do.
My goodness.
We can up-regulate or down-regulate if needed thyroid. We can, we can technically up-regulate or regulate any organ.
Yeah.
So that's why I choose electro for every single treatment, regardless of what I'm treating.
Right. And you said there that you wouldn't zap every needle. So why wouldn't you?
Well, you would want to find the exact cause.
Right. Okay.
And so what's the biggest external factor? What's the biggest internal factor? And that's what we treat.
Right.
We can then support it by supporting the secondary internal factor and maybe a few knock-on effects in life. But you wouldn't just you wouldn't need to. I use the word zap. You wouldn't need to zap everything.
Okay.
Now that's a very different approach to if you're treating a musculoskeletal injury,
Okay.
or tendon damage, or actual physical muscle damage. There's different ways of treating that. You can run needles up the whole tendon, ligament, muscle, and you can connect multiple clips and run the electricity through it. But it depends on what you're going for. It depends on what your patient can cope with, and it depends what you're actually treating. There's a big difference between treating an MSK issue or an internal process issue. So in most cases, 2 to 4 needles with electro on is sufficient. In some cases, you would want to run electro, for example, all up the hamstring.
Okay.
But then we're looking at different treatment protocols for different things. So you treat the level of injury or level of disease on the same level that it's at.
Wow.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I get that. Oh wow, okay. I thought there was a different reason, but no, okay. Cool. Okay then. So would you or can you use electro alongside any other treatment like gua sha or cupping?
Definitely. Stacking is something which separates some of us from some of the others.
Oh, I see.
I mean, rather than going to see 5 or 6 different practitioners, one to manipulate, one for soft tissue therapy, one for myofascial release, one for X, Y, Z. You can do it all in one go on the condition it isn't too strong for the patient.
I see.
So there's absolutely no harm in manipulating or realigning or readjusting, let's just say, the spine or the elbow. Then doing some soft tissue therapy to ensure it stays where it's supposed to.
Yeah.
You can then do some gua sha to release some heat or to realign the muscle fibers. If required, you could do some cupping for some separation of the muscle layers or the tight fascial layers. You can then pop some pins in to flood it with more blood and speed up recovery.
Wow.
You can do electro with moxa.
Oh yeah.
You can pop some cute little herbs on the end of the needles and electro to that as well. So you get the benefit of the heating, which again adds the yang energy or warms up a cold arthritic knee or frozen shoulder while stimulating electro. So you can double up like that as well. There's a few things you wouldn't put together.
Okay.
For example, magnets and electro. they cancel each other out.
Oh, do they?
One or the other. And I would personally pick electro, and then maybe send the patient home with magnets instead. That's kind of my preferred method. Sort of give them some homework and things.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay. So I was going to ask what the benefits are, but I suppose, like you said, the blood. Will you explain that? What are the benefits of electro over?
Yeah. Well, so I mean, the benefits. I mean, you can speed things up. You can match the frequency to the body. So the body puts out continuous sine waves overlapping each other, which carry different messages, you could say, and you can pick which ones on your machine that you want to promote more of.
Yeah.
You can pick that frequency, and you can do it. If you can pick the correct frequency for soft tissue repair. You can pick the correct frequency for anti-inflammatory. You can pick, you can pick whatever you want to do whatever you need.
Is that why they're all different colours then?
Because that's just to see which wire attaches to which output channel.
Oh.
some machines, you've got 4 outputs with 2 clips on each. So you have no idea which one you're increasing or decreasing sometimes. So that's why they're different coloured.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh God. Okay. And all right then. Tell us a success story that you've had with electro.
Again, as I usually only use electro,
Yeah.
I would say all of my patients would get electro. So obviously, I can list all of them. However, there's a couple in particular that I like to sort of use as examples. So I had one patient come to me late last year with relapsing polychondritis. Now it's quite rare, and there's actually only 2 of them diagnosed in the whole of my area, the whole of Buckinghamshire. So it's quite a large area and quite a rare thing. And it's where the cartilage just disintegrates and kind of just you keep it simple. It falls apart, and it's due to an inflammatory response in the body. It's constantly putting out inflammatory factors, and it's just constantly in fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
And with the electro, we managed to switch the body out of fight and flight mode, promote it with anti-inflammatory responses, and then with some nutrition and other lifestyle changes, this patient is now, with the help of her GP, coming off her medication completely. And I don't think she's actually doing any steroids anymore either. So she's, in her own words, she says she's fully cured now. And it's one of those things which is not fixable.
So what has the GP said? Have you spoken to them or?
Yeah, GP's very happy. Again, the GP doesn't fully understand my medicine, but then I don't fully understand their medicine.
Yeah.
We both trained in different aspects, and we know bits of each other's, but not everything. It's like me trying to sit there for an hour and understand what she's doing. I would have no idea, not to the depth that she does.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, because the last podcast was Tony Dickinson, and he was telling us about how you guys can talk to GPs, because I think there's a bit of a struggle between the GPs and the acupuncturists. Like, so you get on quite well with the GPs then?
Yes. Well, one particular GP in my area, I think I've got 11 or 12 of her patients.
Oh wow!
So I think she's quite grateful for the help. To be fair, especially the amount of pressure they're put under. The restraints and time limits they get. It's like 7 minutes per patient now. So I think she's actually quite happy that she's got some load taken off her. I've actually got another one of her patients actually. I think everyone's heard me talk about this lady quite a lot, to be fair.
Okay.
But she came to me with quite severe epilepsy, amongst lots of other health conditions. And with the help of electro, as well as nutrition, lifestyle changes, and a specific diagnosis, we've managed to sort of take her down from around about 35 epileptic seizures a day. 15 seizures a day for 35 years. Even I was thinking that's quite a lot. So around about 15 seizures a day for 35 years, down to one large seizure, probably every 6 to 8 weeks. She has small mouth tremors and small kind of half-second ones occasionally, but not the big ones really anymore. They're kind of bi-monthly now.
Wow! Like,
and that's using electro. And that was going off a method that I learned from a doctor in America. In conjunction with a technique they use in America where they actually implant a vagal nerve stimulator.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So we just done the same thing with needles.
What? I'm gobsmacked. What?
So that's more of a symptoms approach. So we do that with the symptoms for half the treatment, and then we work on the actual cause itself for the other half. Yeah. And then homework for her is also the cause.
So how did you work on the cause then? Because if I'm right in thinking, epilepsy is electric in the brain, isn't it?
Oh, exactly. So we're full of electricity, aren't we?
Yeah.
So an epileptic seizure is either a lack of or too much electrical charge in the excitatory or inexcitatory cells in the brain. And we found with her that she had a seizure when she got into a heightened state of emotion or anger or frustration. And then with the Chinese medical diagnosis, we tracked it back to liver. Liver is responsible for processing poisons and toxins and anger.
Yeah.
So the actual initial cause of the epilepsy was probably the induced coma as a 9-year-old, in conjunction with the suspected stroke she had when she was 9. And even stroke you can relate back to the liver.
What?
So
wow.
It's all being a detective using the foundations of Chinese medicine, but then including a turbocharged version of the treatment.
Oh my goodness! So the root of a problem, because that's what you guys deal with, is the root, not the symptoms. So the root of her problem was that the anger at 9 then?
Well, no, it wouldn't have been the anger at 9. So she had a little electrical pain in her left wrist.
Right.
About 2 or 3 fingers above the wrist crease, which, as we know, is the heart channel.
Oh.
And that same day, she had a suspected stroke.
Oh.
So, it's very, very hard to ask somebody what happened 40 years ago, 45, 50 years ago, because, they don't always know or understand, and there could have been multiple things at the time happening.
Yeah.
So I can only work with what I've got now, the information I've got now. So I can track it back as far as I can, and work with that. But we treat we treat the causes and the symptoms separately, because if a symptom's left long enough, it will become another cause.
Yeah.
If you're falling down and you're cracking your head open, you're falling down and you're breaking your wrist, you're not sleeping through the night, if you can't keep, food down, if you've got no bowel movement, if you're having irregular anything, that will become the cause of something else.
Yeah.
Although we're very much focused on treating the cause or causes,
Yeah.
you have to sometimes think about the patient. And you know what? If we can give them a good night's sleep, first of all, that will actually help us.
Yes, yeah, of course, yeah. Wow, that's incredible. So how does that woman feel? Like, she had 35 years of 15 seizures a day, and now she's down to one bi-monthly. How's that?
And she's very happy. We've worked on quite a few other things with her. Spasticity of the hand, dropped foot. We're currently working on other bits and pieces. But I mean, even the lady with the relapsing polychondritis, her hair's now regrowing back. She's managed to put some weight on, which she's happy with. She has more energy, and she's happy that she's not taking a whole, myriad of medication a day.
Yeah.
So as you know, it's not functional, and each thing you take causes something else.
Yeah.
At least when you treat, this style, there are no negative side effects, except you may feel sleepy because you require a sleep to recover. So that's kind of the worst. The worst. You might get a headache with the toxin release, but again, it's nothing serious that requires more medication to fix it.
Wow. So, oh my God. So, is she like a case study, or was she a client that come to see you?
Actually, I did use her for my dissertation.
Yeah.
I did. And as a result, I got some communication with her hospital as well.
Wow.
Which I was quite shocked at and very happy with. So yeah, I'm very happy. But I mean, lots of patients that come and see me have got similar success stories, because they put in the work. They do the homework. They change their nutrition. They change their lifestyle. They hydrate. So they do all the hard work. So I could sit here and list you off, 500 success stories, but it's them that's done the hard work.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not even the electro. It's them.
Oh, yeah, but you're empowering them to believe in themselves, and you're giving them that boost so they can go and do the homework.
Yeah, facilitate. We facilitate them to do their own healing.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. It is actually amazing. That's blown my mind a little bit. Thank you very much for your input today. It's been amazing to speak with you again. I do hope, wish you all the best for the future, and hopefully we'll see you back again soon.
I'd love to. Yeah, it'd be great. Thank you.
Definitely. Because you say that's another podcast. Because I got a feeling that you can work with mental health a little bit.
Yes, I actually quite enjoy doing that, actually.
Do you?
It's such a fantastic feeling when someone comes in one way and instantly leaves another way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to ramble on now very quickly. I don't know how much time we got left.
10 minutes. Yeah.
We've got this. I have had some fantastic patient-led results over the years, where they'll come in, very, very down in the dumps, suicidal, attempted suicides, lots of medication, not leaving the house for days, weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And using electro to stimulate the neurotransmitters, to secrete what we require, to use nutritional therapy, listening to what they're saying, and just empowering them to take control back. That they've now changed their lives around.
Yeah.
Some have gone on to have fantastic careers. One's now doing acting and is on TV quite often. We've got others that are, almost headlining events, doing music festivals and producing. We've got I mean, I'm so happy for them. But they are fantastic, and they also in return inspire me to keep going, keep improving, keep learning. And every time you treat someone, this is what I learned from Chris, one of my best lecturers ever. Every time you treat someone, you get a 10% kickback.
Yeah.
And that itself I love, because we're sharing electricity. We're sharing the energy in the room. We're kind of, helping each other.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yes, we've got about 20 more podcasts between us, I think.
Definitely. Do you know what? I could speak to you all day. Oh my God. Well, thank you so much, Phil. We are definitely going to do this again. I will speak to the powers that be and get it sorted.
Perfect.
But thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
And you.